Hello, welcome to Drawing with Mr. Kane again. Today I think we'll draw some pictures that I usually work with fifth graders on near the end of the year. We start to talk about human figures and how to draw proportions. Now, so let's start quickly by doing the head. Now, the shape of your head is a little bit like an egg shape. I call it an upside down egg. So if you make it kind of round, and you'd see right here it would go completely round, and we add that little bit down here for the jaw. So that's basically the shape of the head. Now you can also kind of bring it in to show where the cheeks are. For right now we're just going to talk about the proportions. So if you put a line over here and then on the top of the head and one at the chin, and then you figure out, okay, where's the middle between those two? And right about there. And then you go, where's the middle of this line? And it's right about there. And where's the middle of that line? So I have this amount here, top to bottom, and then I divided that in half. And that's going to be right about where my eyes are. So I'm going to put two lines there. Now you're going to think that this is a lot of space up here, but your forehead takes up most of your face. You go to here and then you have all this hair on top. So don't make the mistake of putting your eyes way up in the middle. Everybody thinks when you're talking about the face, you're talking about the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. But we're talking about the head. So on this line right here, which is halfway between the chin and the eyes, then we're going to put another line, and see, that's where our nose is. And then halfway between there and there, we're going to put another little line, and that's going to be where our mouth is. So you can see there's my eyes, and I'll make them look a little bit more like eyes there. And right just above my eyes, then that's about where my chin's gonna, my ears are gonna go. And then we'll put in, so you can see that's where the neck is. Now on your neck, if you take your hand and you feel right here, right there, that kind of gives you the feeling of where the neck goes. Now you can also make the feeling of how old somebody is by how round their head is. Would be younger, and more stretched out would be somebody that's older. And just so you get the kind of the idea of if this were hair on the top of the head, see if I just quickly add in a little bit of hair over the ears. So there you have your head. So just to recap, we do kind of an egg shape, and we can, after a while, kind of bring in the cheeks, make it rounder if we want it younger. Halfway between the chin and the top of the head, we put in the eyes. Halfway between there, we put in the nose. Halfway between there, we put in the mouth. And that gives us kind of the layout for the face. Now, that's important. Now, I want you to draw up here, and we're working pretty quickly. We're going to draw that egg shape again. We're not going to draw in the whole face. So what I want you to do is for the shoulders, I want the shoulders to be kind of straight across. And this is how you show attitude. See how my shoulders are moving? So if I put a line across from where my shoulders are, and that goes down to where my hips are, so we're going to use that shape for our body, and then we're going to use this shape for our hips. And everywhere you have a bend in your arm and in your leg, that's where there's kind of like a ball on your bone, so it can kind of move back and forth. So we're going to just start by using, we're doing a stick figure, we're going to put little tiny balls where those joints go. Now this looks way too long for your arm, but your arm goes from your shoulder, it goes, I don't know if you can see down here, down to the calf on your leg. So if your leg started here, your hand would have to go about there. So I like to call it this is to that as that is to this. So the size of your hand is generally from your chin to just above your eyebrows, right? So that you can always go, okay, so if that's that big, that's about the right size. So you can actually just hold your pencil to give you the size of things. So from your shoulder to your elbow and then your elbow to your wrist, those are roughly the same size. So you can kind of check that too. Going down your leg, and we'll put in a little joint right there. Now, so arm goes down to right about there on your leg, and then this part of your leg and this part of your leg are pretty similar. And we'll just add in 2 feet. Now, if you wanted to show the feet kind of pointing right in front of you, it would look like that. If you're doing the side, it would look more like that. Now, this is where we start trying to figure out how to draw attitude on a person. So if we were to make this be more of an angle and this be at a more of an angle this way, so one of these legs would be kind of bent and one of these would be kind of straight. That kind of gives you the attitude of standing, like that. And what's fun to do is if you have if you have a friend or your mom or your brother or your sister, somebody in your family, or you can even take pictures out of magazines or the newspaper and just look at the person and just kind of quickly sketch in what we did for drawing the person's attitude. So we talk about, so we put in where the head is positioned, and we put in the angle of the shoulders, and then you look for the angle of the hips. And then you okay, what are the arms doing? So we're trying to do some quick sketches, like if you wanted to draw a person holding a baseball bat, they'd look like that. If you're drawing a person shooting a basketball, they look like that. Reading a book, they're like this. So how do you draw that? You look at these lines right here, and then eventually we start to add in the shapes of the body around it. But for right now, we just want to do the stick figure because we want to learn how to do attitudes and show what people are doing, how they're moving. Angle of the shoulders, angle of the hips. What are the legs doing? What are the arms doing? Now, the other thing I want to talk about really quickly is when we're drawing a face, the hardest thing to do is to draw the nose, the mouth, and the eyes. So we'll come back and talk about how to do that in another lesson. So for right now, it's fine to just draw them with just a little bit of suggestion. But what you're really drawing with the nose is you're drawing the shadows on either side of the nose. One side's going to be light, one side's going to be dark. And if you have a graphite pencil, you can actually shade in the area, smooth it down, and take your eraser and erase where the nose goes, the middle of the nose and the line up the top and on the side. And I think that's a good enough lesson for us now. So if you want to practice drawing the human figure, like I say, find somebody that'll maybe stand with you, or you can just look at yourself. But always check to make sure your legs are a little bit longer than your arms, right? Always make sure that your arm goes down to about here on your legs. It's going to look funny when you first do it because you're so used to drawing like maybe like a person out of a cartoon, and they're going to be like this, but that's not the proportions of an actual person. Remember the proportions of the face too. Don't start your eyes too high up on your forehead. When your brain thinks about drawing a face, it thinks about the face part of the head. You want to make sure you have the whole head in there so you can have a place to put the hair. And whoops, I've lost it. There we go. So, have fun, be safe, and go outside whenever you can. And when you're outside, look around you because there's a lot to learn. Thank you.